bark Marathon was 600 miles from land when the lookout saw something wrong on the horizon. A ship, sails full, moving with the wind like any other ship on the open Atlantic, except there was no one on deck, no one signaling, no one answering the horn, just a ship sailing on its own toward nowhere in particular. When the boarding crew finally climbed aboard, they found the cargo untouched, the cabins undisturbed, clothes still folded, valuables still in the drawers, but not a single living soul. What could empty a fully crewed ship without a fight? Welcome back to Horfhay Origins, where the sea keeps its secrets and sometimes sends them back. The date was February 28, 1857. The ship was the James B. Chester, an American brigantine, found drifting in the mid-Atlantic by the British bark Marathon. The first thing the boarding officer noticed was the hull. Not a scratch, no fire, no storm damage, nothing to explain why anyone would leave a ship this sound. So he checked the lifeboats. Every single one was still on board. On any ship in trouble, the lifeboats go first. That's the rule of the sea. Whatever happened to this crew, they didn't row away from it. So how do you leave a ship without a boat? The officer moved to the wheelhouse next, hoping the compass might tell him something. It was smashed. Not broken by weather, smashed. The navigation tools were gone, destroyed, or simply missing. Someone, or something, made sure this ship could never find its way home again. But if there was enough force to smash a compass, where was the blood? There wasn't any. No blood, no bodies, no signs of a fight anywhere on the James B. Chester. Just cargo, sitting exactly where it was loaded. Personal items, untouched in the cabins. A ship frozen in the middle of an ordinary day, as if the crew had simply stopped existing. The official investigation opened. Sailors were questioned. Records were searched. No answer was ever found. To this day, no one knows what happened to the crew of the James B. Chester. But this isn't the only ship the ocean has sent back without an answer. 91 years later, a very different kind of silence came over the radio. February 1948. Somewhere near Sumatra, radio operators picked up a distress call from a Dutch cargo ship, the SS Orang Medan. The message was broken, rushed. All officers, including captain, dead, lying in chart room and on bridge, possibly whole crew dead. Then, two final words came through the static: I die. What could kill an entire crew so fast that the last man had time only for that? The rescue ship, the SS Silver Star, raced to the location and boarded the Orang Medan. What they found would stay with every sailor who heard the story after. Bodies, everywhere, on the bridge, in the chart room, scattered across the deck. Every face was frozen, mouths open, arms stretched out, eyes locked on the sky. Not one wound on any of them. No blood, no sign of a fight, no clear cause of death at all. So what kills a man and leaves his face stuck in fear, but leaves no mark on his body? The rescue crew never got their answer. Before the Orang Medan could be towed to port, smoke began pouring out of it. Then fire, then a blast that sent it to the bottom of the sea, taking every piece of proof with it. Some historians now question whether the Orang Medan was ever officially listed in any shipping record at all. A ship that may have vanished twice, once into silence, once into the deep. And if a ship can lose its crew in an instant, how long can a ship survive with no one on it at all? In 1931, the Canadian trading ship M.V. Bachimo got trapped in Arctic pack ice during a blizzard. The crew, fearing for their lives, made the only choice they could. They left it behind in the storm. They expected the ice to crush it within days. It didn't. For 38 years, sailors and Arctic hunters reported seeing the Bechimo drifting, empty, along the frozen coast. A ghost ship, still afloat, still moving through the ice with no one on board. What keeps a ship moving for 4 decades with no one at the wheel? The last confirmed sighting was in 1969. After that, nothing. No wreckage, no confirmed resting place. It simply stopped being seen. So what really happened on these ships? Investigators in 1857 believed the James B. Chester crew turned against each other or was hit by sudden panic at sea. But that idea has a problem. A mutiny leaves marks. A fight leaves blood. There was none. Modern researchers have suggested something else. A sudden, overwhelming fear, maybe caused by a false alarm that sent the crew jumping into the water without their boats. Except that still doesn't explain the smashed compass. Fear doesn't destroy navigation tools. Someone did that on purpose. For the Orang Medan, the leading theory for decades was poison gas. Leaking cargo, maybe nitroglycerin or cyanide, quietly filling the ship. It's a neat explanation, but it doesn't explain the frozen expressions. It doesn't explain why rescuers who boarded reported no lingering fumes at all. Others suggest everyone on board saw the same thing at once, caused by bad food or water. But if that's true, who sent the final message? I die. 2 words that still have no confirmed sender. Somewhere out there, in an ocean that keeps better records than we do, a brigantine still drifts through the story of 1857. Sails full, compass shattered, lifeboats never lowered. The crew never found, the silence never broken. Maybe the sea doesn't lose ships. Maybe it just sends them back, empty. So we're forced to keep asking why. I'm Amir Hamza, and this has been Horfhay Origins, where every story leaves a question behind. If you're the kind of person who needs an answer, hit subscribe, because the next story we uncover might not stay unsolved for long.